Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananaham Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anasrinvan Utibhitsi Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Bhirvajini Vati Dhinama Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Sasivardam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Yasya Dvirada Vaktradhya Parishadhya Parasatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Paramananda Madhavam. With Bhagavan's grace, we came up to Slokam number 20. Yesterday, Prakritim Purusham Cha Eva Vidhi Anadi Ubhau Api Vikarancha Gunancha Eva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Slokam number 21. It is said that nature gives rise to the play of the five elements. There are five characteristics, the 10 indriyas, mind, intellect, and ahamkaram. And that Purusha is the cause for the enjoyment of the pleasures and pains from this play. It is said. Okay? Bhagavan is not saying this, but it is said. Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetuhu Prakritihi Uchyate. Purushaha Sukadukhanam Bhoktrutve Hetuhu Uchyate. Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetuhu Prakritihi Uchyate. Purushaha Sukadukhanam Bhoktrutve Hetuhu Uchyate. Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetuhu Prakriti Uchyate. Purushaha Sukadukhanam Bhoktrutve Hetuhu Uchyate. Padangal Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetuhu Prakritihi Uchyate. Purushaha Sukadukhanam Bhoktrutve Hetuhu Uchyate. Karya Karyam we say, right? The actions, various things that we do. Karanam is the cause, the reason for it, right? Kartrutve, by doing this, the karyam. Now we explain what karyam now, the way it's explained here. What Bhagavan says, we have to understand it carefully. So first, karya karana kartrutve means by making this happen. Both the karyam as well as the karanam, but making it happen. What happens? Hetuhu, what is the cause for it? What is the thing behind it? That is prakritihi, the nature as we call prakritihi, uchyate. Prakriti is the cause, is the reason for the happenings of karyam and karanam. Okay? Uchyate, it is said like that. So what is karyam when we say and what is karanam? Let us look at that a little bit, okay? Karyam is the action. Karanam is the causative element behind it. So, if nature is causing both the causative elements for action as well as the actions, let's understand what these causative elements are and what the actions are. What are the actions done through? Okay, number one, you got the 10 senses that we talked about, right? The 5 senses of perception, 5 senses of action. Okay, all these senses are always externally oriented. They are not internally oriented. Each sense, whether sense of perception or sense of action, is always externally oriented, coming out of the kshetra. Something is happening out of it, not internally but externally. Then, so that makes it 10. Then we have mind, and we have our intellect or intelligence, buddhi as we call it, and ahamkaram. Now mind, buddhi, ahamkaram. Mind is something that mind is the one that actually creates everything. When you really analyze it, and that's what our rishis have also told us, but that's a subject for another time. But all the things that happens and disappears, and then we create things in our mind, and after sometimes it goes away, whatever it is, sometimes it doesn't go away also. So whatever it is, the mind is the one that is what is known as sankalpam and vikalpam. It unites as well as it separates. Unites and separates. Now, so it is going through in a sanchalam. It's always unsteady. Whereas buddhi, the discriminating ability, is always steady. It may be weak or it may be strong depending upon its application. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. Just like the more we use our muscles, the muscles remain stronger, right? So it's like that buddhi, the discriminating ability, is steady, whereas mind is unsteady. Now ahamkaram, so this is something personal. Now ahamkaram also something we can relate to that on a very personal basis, that it is the I am the doer, that feeling we have. Even though we know that feeling is not right, but we still have that feeling, right? That feeling, that I am the doer feeling, is ahamkaram. So now these 10 plus 3, 13, that we can relate to each one of us to us on an extremely personal basis, right? It is not something that's in a book, but it's really as part of me. These 13 are the karanam, the causative elements for the various activities that is taking place. So then what is the other side of it? Something else must do it, right? What are the things that actually carrying out the activities, or really the panchabhudangal, right? All the external world that we see, so-called at nature, earth or universe or whatever we call it, everything is made out of these 5 panchabhudangal that we saw earlier, which is earth, water, fire, air, and sky or space. Sky is better. Then, in not only these 5 panchabhudangal, but also in the panchabhudangal, in the way they combine, there are the elements that attract the senses that we have. Then that's what senses of perception perceive those, and immediately the senses of action come into action and start acting. So those 5 things are called indriyartheshu. We have covered that before. That would be like sound, right? And then that sound goes to the ear, and form that goes to the eye, smell to the nose, taste to the mouth, and touch to the skin. With these 5 things present in the external world, and the external world itself composed of the 5 panchabhudangal, is through this play, the karanam, the karyam, the activities take place. And they are prompted and interplayed through manam, buddhi, and ahamkaram. This is what karya karana kartritve prakriti hetuhu uchyate. Prakriti, all these 13 things that I mentioned to you, that but not I mentioned, but Bhagavan talked about, they are all present in nature. So we say, all these things are taking place because of nature. Iti uchyate. It is said like that, is what Bhagavan says. Now, what happens once these things take place? Purushaha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetuhu uchyate. The Purusha, who is present in this body, it is said, he enjoys the pleasures and pains that arise out of these various activities. Okay, that's the meaning of this sloka. Karya karana kartrutve hetuhu prakriti uchyate purushas sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetuhu uchyate. Now next slokam 22. In reality though, Bhagavan says, this is what people say, but in reality, the Purusha is established in nature and enjoys the characteristics born in nature. For his birth in the midst of the experiences of pains and pleasures in nature, attachment to these characteristics is the reason. Okay, this slokam and the next slokam, the message will become very, very clear to you. Okay. Purushaha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya satasadyonihi janmasu. Purushaha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasadyonihi janmasu. Purushaha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasadyonihi janmasu. Padangal are Purushaha prakritistaha hi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan karanam gunasangah asya sadasat yonihi janmasu. He, in reality, but certainly, Purushaha is the one who resides in Puru, right? Which is the vehicle that various upadhis, as they call it, various vehicles. Body is a vehicle, table is a vehicle, everything is a vehicle where Bhagavan resides. So Purushaha, he prakritistaha, established in nature, not as part. He is nature also, but established as nature, in nature. Prakriti Jan, the things that born out of Prakriti. What are those? Gunan, the various attributes, the three attributes that Bhagavan is going to explain in more detail. This Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic Gunangal. Okay, Prakriti Jan Gunan, they are all born out of nature. Then Bhukte, he enjoys. What does he do? Asya, for him, to him, Sadasat Yoni Janmasu. Now, important to understand, Janmasu is birth. See, you, me, everyone, we have taken birth. But Bhagavan really has taken each one of our forms. Each one is called a Yonihi. Sadasat Janmatu means we are born sometimes to enjoy pleasure, sometimes to pain, misery, sometimes happiness. So many different types of births are there, right? In all types of births, Sadasat Janmasu, for Bhagavan to take a birth as each one of us, right? In our form, in our Kshetra, what happened? The Guna Sangaha, this attachment to the Gunangal, to the characteristic attributes of the nature, is the Karanam. That is the reason. So Bhagavan, now next Slokam, Bhagavan, he is also untouched by this, but at the same time, he is the one who is also taking every form and going through the experiences of misery and pleasure and pain, etc., 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 because he is part of nature. As part of nature, he is attached to these three gunas that are born out of nature. That Bhagavan's creation only he is talking about. Okay? He is explaining it so we can understand it. Purushaha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasat yonihi janmaso. Now, but what happens to this Purusha actually? This is one part, as Purusha Suttam says, right? Down the other part, what happens? That's Slokam number 23. The seer who sees everything, the thinker who is behind all thoughts, the supporter, the enjoyer, the Lord of all lords, the one who is said to be Paramatma, resides in this body but is beyond it. Upadrishthānumantā ca bharta bhokta mahesvaraha paramatma iti cha api uktaha dehesmin purushaha paraha. Upadrishthānumantā ca bharta bhokta mahesvaraha paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushah paraha. Upadrishthānumantā ca bharta bhokta mahesvaraha Paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushah paraha. Padangal are Upadrishtan anumantaha cha bharta bhokta maheswaraha. Maha Iswaraha is Maheswaraha. Paramatma iti cha api uktaha dehe asmin purushaha paraha. Upadrishta. We are all seeing things, But who's the one who actually sees? The seer of things. Okay? The seer of things. I see, but the eyes alone cannot see, right? It needs a power, Shakti behind that. Bhagavan is seeing through our eyes. Okay? An eye is just a indriyam. That's all. Nothing more than that. And Anumantacha, the person who's thinking. We all think all the time so many thoughts, but who's the one, the thought behind all this? Behind all the thoughts, the thinker, who's the thinker that thinking all these thoughts? Right? That is Anumantacha. Bharta, the supporter. Bhokta, the enjoyer. And Maheswaraha, he is the Lord of Lords. He is a master. Iswaraha means Lord. Maheswara, Lord of Lords. And Paramatma iti, he is Paramatma iti cha api uktaha. He is called as Paramatma, and that Paramatma, what does he do? Asmin dehe, in this body. Deham, we saw earlier, right? Deham, Shariram, Kshetram. We saw the meanings earlier. Deham means that is susceptible for Dahanam. That is burnable. That is burning. And we are burning all the time, right? Burning away. So it's called Deham. So this Dehesmin, Asmin Dehe, in this body, this Paramatma, who is Upadrishtan Anumanta, because he's thinking here, he is the one seeing, he is the one thinking, he is the one who is also supporting. When we take one step forward, according to law of physics, we all should fall down, but we don't, right? So who's the one who's Bharta, who's supporting us and enjoying? And Maheswaraha, that Paramatma, Asmin Dehe, Paraha Purushaha. He is present, residing in this body, but Paraha is beyond that. He is different from it. Okay? Upadrishtanumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheswaraha Paramatmeti chapyukto Dehesmin Purushah Paraha. Slokam number 24. He who knows thus the Purusha and the characteristics filled nature is not born again, whatever life he leads. One who understands Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. This is what Bhagavan says. One who understands the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna, the nature and Bhagavan, Purusha and the Prakriti, is not born again. Who understands? Because the nature is the one that's filled with all characteristics and all agitations and all that, and peace also. Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvarta vartamanopi na sa bhuyoho abhijayate. Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvata vartamanopi na sa bhuyoho abhijayate. Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvarta vartamanopi na sa bhuyo abhijayate. Padangal, ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvarta vartamanopi vartamanaha api na saha bhuyaha abhijayate. So very simple Sanskritam padangal in this. So yaha who evam thus purusham, the Purusha, the Kshetrajna, gunaihi saha prakritincha, the prakriti, the nature that is associated, inseparable from the gunas, the three attributes that Bhagavan will describe in detail coming. Okay, so gunaihi, the nature has got characteristics. So the Purusha and the nature that has got the characteristics. One who understands, veti, one who knows. Okay, saha, he, sarvata vartamanaha, in whatever way he carries his livelihood, whether he is a king or whether he is a pauper, a scholar or a unschooled person or a rich person, doesn't matter. Poor, immaterial, man, woman, child, old man, really doesn't matter. Vartam sarvata vartamanopi, in whatever way that he or she leads his or her life, in whatever stage in life he or she is, You go back to our various devotees, some of them were very, very young, right? Some of them very, very old. It really doesn't matter, but you got to understand. Ya Veti, who understands, whatever way he leads his life, Naha, Bhujaha, again, Na Abhijayate, does not born. He is not born again. Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvata vartamanopi na sa bhuyopi jayate. Slokam number 25. Now, if Bhagavan is residing in this deham, how do I embrace him? Bhagavan says, some embrace the indweller by meditating on it, some others through knowledge, and yet others through action. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechit atmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena cha apare. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechit atmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechit atmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. Padangal dhyanena atmani pashyanti kechit atmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena cha apare. Kechit, some people, some. Dhyanena, through dhyanam, through thinking about, concentrating on, and focusing on, and merging with the indweller, whatever form we like, we take it, and whatever name corresponding to that, we keep repeating it, Japa Sahita Dhyanam, whatever Dhyanam we undertake, through Dhyanena Pasyanti, Kechite, Dhyanena Atmani Pasyanti, the indweller, they embrace. Okay? The Atmani means, in this case, the indweller, in our heart. Atmana means by the self-effort. Atmanam, the indweller. Pasyanti, they see. See means not with his physical eyes, but basically experience, bhavam. Okay? Anye, some others. Sankhena yogena, like we saw in Sankhya Yoga Adhyaya number 2, which is basically one of inquiry and knowledge. Okay, through the knowledge, by pursuing knowledge, it's called Satyanveshanam. Sathya Anveshanam. That means always excavating for the truth. When you excavate for the truth, like Ramana Maharshi did, it will automatically lead you to truth. Some people, they Atmani Pasyanti Sankhena Yogena. Okay? Then, Cha and Apare, yet others. Okay? Karma Yogena Pasyanti. Through carrying out their actions not just carrying it out, in the yoga method. And the yoga method is, as we have been seeing, as Bhagavan has been teaching us so patiently, it is Nishkama Karmam, which is doing the work as worship, not really be concerned with the results. That's a basic Karma Yoga. Doing any action as Bhagavan's action for his pleasure, for his worshipping him, we're devoted to him, we carry out the action as his instrument for his pleasure, not be concerned with whatever results come in. Okay, that's Karma Yogena. Through that, people embrace the indweller. Anye dhyanenatmani pasyanti kechidatmanam atmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. Slokam number 26. Some not aware of these paths receive and understand the teachings from others and follow that diligently. Faithfully attaching themselves to these teachings and holding on to them as supreme, they overcome death with certainty. Anye tu evam ajanantaha srutvanyebhya upasate tepi chati tarantyeva mrutyum sruti parayanaha. Anye tvevam ajanantaha srutvanyebhya upasate tepi chati taranyatyeva mrutyum shruti parayanaha. Anye tu evam ajanantah srutvanyebhya upasate. Te api cha atitarantyeva mrutyum shruti parayanaha. Padangal are anye tu evam ajanantah srutvane. Okay, anyebhyah srutva anyebhyah upasate. Te api cha atitaranti eva mrutyum srutva. Tu, yet others. Okay, we talked about different people. Now some others. He says, evam thus ajanantah, not knowing, not understanding. They cannot do dhyanam. They don't know about Sankyam, they are not doing the Karma Yoga, okay? They are not following any of these things, right? Then what do? Srutva. Srutva here just not mean listening. It is getting the instructions from, getting the teachings from people who are qualified and who are qualified to teach, the proper elders, and there is qualification for a guru, okay? And listening, taking the teachings from them, upasate. Very important. They take the teachings of their guru as worship and they upasate. They actually take it to heart and follow that with shraddha and faith and all that, right? That is upasate. Te api cha, even then, shruti parayanaha, keeping the shraddha, the faith, the firm belief and faith in that teaching that they received from the guru, and without even an iota of doubt, since they are holding on to it so firmly, that Shruti Parayanaha, Mrutyum, death, Atitaranti eva, they pass the death stage, okay? They go beyond that. So it's very important they listen to the teachings of the guru. So the guru must be a qualified person, of course. That's very, very important. Anye teva majanantah srutvanyebhya upasate tepi chatitarantyeva mrutyum shruti parayanaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.